What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of HBO new limited series, The Sympathizer. Let's rock this. Okay, so I really wanted to like this show for more than one reason. I am a huge fan of Robert Downey Jr. and I am a huge fan of the great filmmaker Park Chan-wook, obviously. And I am also a fan of spy thrillers in general. So a combination of all of those would make this an easy sell, right? And I wanted to support any content that features Asian Americans, since I myself am an Asian American as well. So on paper, I was already looking forward to and was already excited about this show. But after having watched the entire thing, boy, does The Sympathizer disappoint me or what? Just to be clear, just like any other HBO shows, this too will air on a weekly basis, but HBO has granted me the advanced screeners to all 7 episodes. So yeah, I'm doing this review on the whole shebang. And let me tell you, The Sympathizer is awful. At times, it's incoherent and convoluted. Other times, it's overly eccentric and pointless. The whole thing kind of drags. It's a bit of a snoozer. The only episode I liked was episode 4, and I'll explain that further in this video, but the rest of the episodes are a perplexing espionage political satire that keeps running around in circles. Oh, and Robert Downey Jr. playing multiple characters was goddamn annoying. Why, you ask? Well, I'll tell ya. So stick around. Co-showrun and directed by Park Chan-wook and co-showrun by Don McKellar and executive produced by Robert Downey Jr. Based on Viet Thanh Nguyen's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name, The Sympathizer is an espionage thriller and cross-cultural satire about the struggles of a half-French, half-Vietnamese communist spy during the final days of the Vietnam War and his new life as a refugee in Los Angeles, where he learns that his spying days are not over. Hey, please click the join button below to become Rama Screen members. By doing so, you will help support this channel and you'll also get lots of perks. So click on the link below to join Rama Screen membership today. In terms of the production value itself, The Sympathizer is definitely something to be admired. It's very elaborate, very detailed. Even the grainy cinematography helps in transporting us to post-Vietnam War era that gives off that gritty, authentic, retro vibe. But what you gotta keep in mind is that there's also a lot of meta stuff going on. By that I mean, The Sympathizer is also a psychological thriller, which allows for director Park Chan-wook to apply all kinds of bizarre, offbeat, peculiar imagery and dreamscapes and nightmares just to mess with the captain's head. And some of those are just too weird for my visual taste. Yep, the captain is what the biracial protagonist is simply called on this show, go figure. A North Vietnamese mole in the South Vietnamese army who mingles with a South Vietnamese community in exile in the United States. I know! I wish the story was really that straightforward. The reason why I only liked episode 4 is because episode 4, to a certain extent, criticizes Hollywood's obsession with the Vietnam War. But that argument can also be said about a lot of the endless wars that America involves in over the years. Hollywood is now constantly making movies that are set in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, but episode 4 is the perfect satire for that. It also unintentionally serves as a tongue-in-cheek to Robert Downey Jr.'s old comedy movie Tropic Thunder, although I very much doubt that The Sympathizer purposely wanted to do that. Now, if this whole show was just only about episode 4, it would have been awesome. Hell, they could have built a movie around episode 4 if they wanted to, because it speaks so much volume about war trauma and the disgusting ways in which America belittles Asians. There are so many profound, hard-hitting themes embedded in that episode alone. And in my opinion, the captain goes through his most challenging personal demon on that episode. So yeah, Episode 4 was the only one that's compelling to me. What I hate the most about Robert Downey Jr.'s multiple characters on this show is that they are not really all that distinctively different from one another. Each one of them is just as aggravating as the other. And Robert just overdoes it. It's a tad bit too much. You know what I'm saying? He does it way over the top when he could bring it down a notch. These multiple characters are like a walking caricature. They are a joke. It's so cartoonish and it's all up in your face. Now, I don't mind a little silliness from time to time, but this right here, it's not even about stealing the scenes. This is just, hey, look at me. I'm making this all about me, and I'm controlling the captain's narrative now. Robert's whole performance on this show just rubs me the wrong way. When it comes to the politics and the espionage, as I implied earlier, the storyline is so mucked and muddled. There are small pockets of action and consequences here and there, but for the most part, not only is it sluggish, but it's filled to the brim with supporting characters who don't necessarily bring anything substantive to the table, and that includes Sandra Oh. Not to mention the many guest star cameos who probably said yes only because they wanted to be on the same IMDb acting credit as Robert Downey Jr. I mean, not until episode 7 where the weight of the captain's journey is finally felt, but by then I have lost complete and total interest. And that's the Sympathizer's biggest crime, in that it fails and miserably fails to get me to care about the captain's plight from the very beginning and throughout the entire show. So yeah, overall I give the Sympathizer the rating of 2 out of 5. I'm sure the book is great, haven't read it, but it won Pulitzer, whoop-de-doo! And I'm sure a lot of audiences are gonna tell me, oh, this one is a thinker, Rama. It's a thinking man show, it's a thinker. And that's all fine and dandy. But as for me, I'll file it under boring with a capital B. This show is absolutely dreadful.